Hello guys, welcome to the channel. This is Will. Welcome to this Connect United video where I want to share one of the latest Zoom calls. They were discussing about one of the companies inside the Connect United ecosystem. That company is Switch. They talk about what Switch is doing to solve major problems with the help of blockchain. Whether you want to participate or not, you should watch this video because it's pure innovation that is going to change the world. And that is only one of the many companies we can find inside this ecosystem. All of them with the same purpose: try to solve problems in the real world with the help of blockchain. All we need to do is help them to run their software, to run their nodes. Those nodes are going to generate rewards for us, and later on we can switch those rewards into different cryptocurrencies. The price of the Switch node is 9,000. That's the one with a huge earning potential right now. Obviously, this price entry is not for everyone. There are other nodes with different prices, and for sure some of those nodes are going to appreciate in value through time. They still have this promotion where you can get the Win node for only 500 USDT. You need to apply the coupon code, which is a discount of 1,500. If you are looking for an opportunity with a huge earning potential, something that is going to be running for years and years while you are just collecting the rewards, then you should definitely take a look at Connect United ecosystem. If you want more information, you can find me on my open Telegram group. I also have different videos here in the channel talking about all of these companies. The way to get started is simple. I have a beginner's guide showing the whole process. I'm going to put that video right here in the top corner. But what I want to do right now is play this Zoom call. I highly recommend you to watch it. A lot of value there. And again, if you have any questions, now you know where to find me. Now, without any further ado, I leave you with Ryan, Billy, and Kathy.
What's the difference between Switch the company and Switch the blockchain? To explain this important distinction, I'm going to use the analogy of a team of real estate developers. One day, the team discovers the perfect plot of land for their next project. They make the purchase and begin subdividing into individual lots. They invest significant time and money in planning the community, building roads, green spaces, complete with a community swimming pool. Once the work is complete, the lots go up for sale. Buyers begin to purchase the lots and build their individual homes as the neighborhood begins to take shape. But the developer's job is still not complete. They continue to invest more time and money into marketing that will get the word out and attract more buyers. They also continue to maintain all the common areas. However, once a certain number of lots are sold, something interesting happens. A homeowners association is created. This association is made up of residents now living inside the community. These homeowners take over the responsibility of maintaining the common areas. They also begin creating and voting on proposals to better the community. They govern the regulations and have a common goal of increasing the value of their individual properties. The developers no longer have control or responsibility for maintaining the neighborhood. Other than in this story, a number of lots are reserved for them to build homes for themselves. So they still get to vote as community members. So, what does all this have to do with Switch? As you've probably figured out, the property developers represent Switch the company. The lots represent the Switch nodes, and the homeowners association represents the Switch blockchain. Once the Switch blockchain is launched, it has nothing to do with Switch the company. The Switch blockchain is run by a decentralized group of node owners, just like the neighborhood is run by a group of individual homeowners. And now you know the difference between Switch the company and Switch the blockchain.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. I feel so much better today. I think last time I saw you guys or talked to you guys, I was feeling a little under the weather. Coming back from Kauai, where Kathy and I got to take a little vacation. We didn't get that much sun, though, did we, Kathy? Rain the whole time we were in Kauai. But it was still a fun trip, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Matter of fact, see here. I was going to pull up my Switch card. I know I have it somewhere around here. I forgot. I'll find it here shortly. Anyway, so
Everybody
welcome.
look.
There
Here's
you
mine.
go. Here's mine. When you start talking, I'm gonna find mine. I know it's over here. It could be right over here on my desk somewhere. I've got so much stuff on my desk. Anyway, so my name is Billy Womack. I live here in Las Vegas. I'm from Tampa, Florida. As Brian was telling you, I've been in the crypto space now for about eight and a half years. I started making Bitcoin years ago at $200 a Bitcoin. And this is what we used to make Bitcoin with. This is an S5 miner. Me and a guy named Wright Thurston. Actually, I was a guy that Wright knew. I got in business with him before I met Wright. And I flew to Reykjavik, Iceland. I started mining my first Bitcoin back when they were $200. And I remember saying back then, man, if Bitcoin ever hits $10,000, we're going to be rich. Guys, we've done okay. We've done okay. I'm still trying to catch Kathy, but we've done okay. But about a year and a half later, he introduced me to Wright. That was about 7.5 years ago. And Wright said, listen, we're going to lock arms and we're going to build the biggest blockchain development company in the world because we want to. Brian, mute him, please. Thank you. And so Wright locked arms with us, said, hey, we're going to build the largest blockchain development company in the world because we want to make an impact. We want to change the world. We want to make sure that we're solving problems. And guys, the people that do the best in the world, the people that make the most in the world, we don't usually talk about money. We talk about solving problems. And Kathy's going to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, Kathy's going to talk a little bit about today about what Switch is doing to solve major problems in the crypto market. For this to go to the masses, there's a lot of little things that need to be fixed, and Switch is at the forefront of doing that. And Kathy will talk a little bit about when she first met me. She loves to tell that story. But I love to tell the story right back because I was so excited to meet Kathy, because when I started working with Wright 7 years ago, we started locking arms. We built our first blockchain. I wasn't that excited about putting money into a gaming platform because I'm not a gamer. I haven't played a video game since Donkey Kong or Tetris. And I was like, I'm just not sure how this thing's going to do. And that was a mistake, but it was also a blessing because I went ahead and threw enough money to buy 11 software nodes into that company. Most of you guys know my story. That $11,000 I put in buying these software nodes that have a responsibility every day. It's not some get rich quick. I know some of you guys have been trying to get rich slow. That hasn't worked for you. So you're jumping over here trying to figure out a way to get rich quick. But we've been very fortunate to make some money, but we do it smart because we solve problems. We're the problem solvers of the blockchain, and our whole business model is blockchain with a purpose. We're out here building these brands that can really make a difference in the world. And when you go and do that, that is when you're going to have the most success in the world. And so Wright calls me one day, said, Billy, I've got someone I need you to meet. This individual was the COO of Discover Bank way back, and she launched the Discover card, and she was actually at Sears Roebuck. I was like, whoa, I remember shopping at Sears Roebuck way back in the day. And she was so successful. She later became the CEO. She ran that thing to I don't know the exact number, so I don't want to say them and mess them up, but I'll let Kathy kind of tell the numbers on that. But she was wildly successful. She's highly known throughout the industry. Matter of fact, when you guys were on here with Tony about a month ago, Tony told you guys he has a $10 billion merchant processing company. And when he heard that Kathy was on board with us and she came out of retirement, of 20 years retirement, because she saw this opportunity that we're doing and she wanted to participate. She wanted to show that you can teach old dogs new tricks, whether she thinks she's too old, but this girl is really bringing some heat, and she's going to tell some of the really cool things that we're doing. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my very, very dear friend. I call her Mama Bear because we have a long relationship now. We spent the last few years busting our butts getting to this point to where you guys kind of get to see you guys are seeing the tip of the iceberg, but you guys weren't here years ago when Kathy and I had to roll up, Brad, we had to roll up our sleeves and we went to work and we sewed million in a day, $5 million of nodes in a week. I mean, we were just out there going to town, trying to get us to where we are today. And she's going to kind of tell you guys what we kind of went through, what her vision is, and where Switch is going to in the future. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Kathy Roberts.
Thank you all so much. Billy is great at introductions, and so I'm going to have him follow me around and talk me up. It makes me feel better when Billy introduces me. So I'd like to take just a few minutes. Billy asked me to tell you a little bit more about my history, and then I'll transition to why I did come out of retirement for this particular project. But I do find it so exciting to be able to talk to groups like you and to hear from you also. I know we've got I think over 100 people on. Can I take 1 minute? Yes. I'd like to hear where everybody's from. Shout it out as fast as hard as you can. Who's on it?
Or put it in the chat box there.
Is there a chat box? Yeah. Okay.
There's a chat box. Everybody just type it in the chat box.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay,
Atlanta.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Dominican Republic.
Pennsylvania.
Orange,
Denver, Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Seattle, Washington.
Framingham, Massachusetts.
Seattle.
Miami, Florida.
Show me state.
Vermont.
Okay, great.
Canton, Georgia.
Ontario, Tampa, Canada. Florida.
I'm in Mexico.
Sarasota, Florida.
Great.
I heard a Tampa in there, my hometown.
Tampa. Okay, I heard somebody say Seattle. I did grow up in Tacoma, Washington, and Tacoma is now called a little bit of a rough spot in the road. I think they call it Tecumseh. And sometimes in the early days, I would always just say I'm from Seattle because nobody had ever heard about Tacoma until they named the airport SeaTac. But it was a little bit like Nazareth. They wondered if anything good could come out of there. But the Pacific Northwest is a lovely, lovely place. And so I am a West Coaster. I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico tonight. Most of the time I'm here. Yesterday I was in Salt Lake area, and then next week I'll be in Amsterdam. All of this basically for me to give. I got an echo there. I don't know where it's going. Okay. Most of this so that I can give my message about what Switch is doing. And now there's a broader story to this, and there are others in this ecosystem. But initially, when I was contacted, the desire was to put a debit card at the end of the stream of an exchange. And when I was contacted for that project, I had been retired for a little while. I always tell people I could run a $54 billion portfolio at Discover Bank, but I adopted a child when I was a little bit older than most people would adopt a child. And I couldn't handle a 2-year-old. So I could do a lot of other things, but I thought this is no way to raise a baby. The nannies were raising him. And I got the blessing from Discover Card to retire a little bit early. One of the things they did for me, because I had spent 34 years in their system, by that time, it was owned by Morgan Stanley. So there was a lot of time at Morgan Stanley. I was running the bank in Delaware, and I had matriculated at the time from Sears, Roebuck and Company, and that's who started Discover. Most people don't know that or remember that. Some of you are probably too young to even know when that was started. But at the time that we started Discover Card, I got to tell you, it was not a field day. Now, granted, we had a deep pockets benefactor, and that deep pockets benefactor was Sears, Roebuck and Company. And one of the things that people did not know is they were probably about the 3rd largest lender in the United States. So there was a think tank that said, what is it that we already do well that we could do again? And credit was one of them. In fact, credit was making more than the retailer at that time. And so they went to Visa and MasterCard and to what was then an association and asked them if they could issue a Visa or MasterCard. And I can remember when my store manager told me that that's what we were going to do. Visa and MasterCard turned Sears down. They were afraid of the 900 and some odd locations they had across the United States, that they would actually turn them into a bank and that they would run everyone else out of the business. So the guys at Sears went down to the middle of Delaware, bought a bank called Greenwood Trust, and then just got a non-bank charter and started the Discover card. So I've carried this card for a very long time. And the other unique thing about it was the first card to have a cashback bonus. At that time, there were lots of things going on, but no one thought you needed a new credit card. It had been 23 years since the last credit card was launched, and nobody thought you needed another card, and everyone thought the cashback bonus was something that was silly. In fact, in the Wall Street Journal, one of the reports was Sears is selling dollars for 99 cents. What a stupid thing to do. You'll never make it. Obviously, we'd already looked at all of the numbers and knew that a cashback bonus could succeed, so much that groups like you and groups of customers would go from merchant to merchant saying, hey, I'd like to use my Discover card because I get a cashback bonus. Now, years later, somebody tell me what's the most copied feature of a card. Is some kind of reward. It's some kind of cashback bonus. It's some kind of digital bonus. It is travel shares or something of that sort. If you look at Delta Airlines, one of the largest ones that gives you points, you can actually trade that for dollars. It doesn't trade for a lot, but it is something very coveted. Who takes out their cards and says, this is the one I'm going to use for this purpose? I either want my cash back, or maybe I want my Delta miles. I want my Alaska miles. I want, all of those things tend to be something that's in the forefront of our consciousness about how we're going to use our cards. So when we looked at putting the card at the end of the stream of an exchange, I really was not into the markets. I did not hear about the new Bitcoin. I did not know about the digital markets. And I said, get a young guy because I don't know what you're talking about. I said, yeah, it makes sense. And Wright was so patient that he would show me. I had called him for something else. And when I called him, he said, oh, I just stepped off the stage in Davos, Switzerland at one of the international financial events where he had given a speech about this new software. And I thought, why did you take my call is what I really thought. But he told me about his need for a debit card. And he told me about the exchange and about these new markets. And he told me how to set up my wallets, very patiently explained all of this to me. And I kept saying, okay, that's great, but get a young guy. After a certain amount of time, he said to me, well, I really need you to consider this. And here, I'm going to send you a Bitcoin. And I don't remember exactly what year this was, Billy, but he sent me a Bitcoin, and I had already connected my wallets, and I still didn't totally know how to work it, but I figured it out. And the Bitcoin was worth $38,000. Well, I thought, I can figure this project out. But it did take me about a year to research the markets, look at everything that was going on in these digital markets. And after that time frame, comparing all the products that were out there, comparing all the types of digital rewards that were out there, I thought, oh my glory, these young people are just geniuses coming up with all of this. And this is going to travel the entire globe, is the reason I came out of retirement to do this project. Now, with that, I will say this, over the last several years, you have seen some people dabbling in sides of their own companies where they shouldn't have been. Sam Bankman-Fried has great hair, but he was a crook. And that happens in any business. What people won't tell you about the fraud that you've seen in the news is that if you look at the total fraud, most of it still happens in the US dollar. And that of about, I don't know what the number is anymore, but out of that number is probably 1% of it is crypto. But what I did not see, I don't see this market stopping. I see this also being an inclusive market. As a traditional banker, we try to exclude people. Oh, we don't want that guy over there because of his credit score. We don't want this guy over here because his debt ratio is too high. And we have a number of things to scale down to say, yes, this is the client we want to take. With digital rewards, we will be able to have people participate using our digital widgets as merchants, using the Switch token as a method to trade with other people, using just their telephones. And I can tell you, I was in Kenya last year where I ran into a little marketplace. The people had certainly put up this marketplace themselves. They had built it and everything. And plenty of people go through there. A lot of my friends have said, get your product to places like that, because with a telephone, this person would be able to run their business. And I don't want to carry a lot of cash when I'm outside of the country. So what we're doing with Switch, and Billy was looking for his card. I have one. It says VIP member on it. And this is just come there. Billy has got his. It's just coming out of the closed beta. And we're going to a larger beta. We're trying to make sure that all the bugs are out, but we'll be inviting more and more people to the beta to get their cards. And we'll have more than one type of cards. If you want the Onyx card or the premium one, it will bring down your cost to trade and other things. It'll give you other benefits. We'll also have some digital cards that won't cost quite as much, but you'll have the opportunity to participate in the card. And then that gives you the opportunity, as the video was explaining, to move from your wallet, your digital rewards, turn them into fiat or cash and spend them. And we never suggest you keep a lot in your custodial wallet until you're ready to spend it. And we always say, depending on what your crypto wallet is, remember, we have no access. And people like Sam Bateman-Fried had access to both sides of those people's money.
Brian Rhodes is a douchebag.
Who is that?
Brian, could you mute everybody, please?
I did.
Thank you.
And so I don't know what your level of information or education is, but again, I did take about a year to go through all of this. And then I was firmly convinced that this is another project that I wanted to take on. This is another opportunity that I did not want to miss. I was scared to death to leave Sears Roebuck and Company, which was a very stable company at that time, and go to a subsidiary. And they were so warm and welcoming and at Sears that they would very gently tell you in that Midwest kind of a way, go over there and start that company, make money in 3 to 5 years. Don't come back because we don't have a job for you. It was not going to be an easy task. And I think most of us stayed up about 3 years and got it running. It took 3 years prior to that to get it going. So as Billy said, it's not an overnight thing. I just heard a podcast today from a company similar to Switch that started in about 2015, and they've just now gotten to the point of making a profit. So you've heard a little bit about the difference between the company and about the actual Switch, the token, as you heard about on the videos. But the company, Brad Wilden and I are the people behind the company, and Brad has about 20, 25 years in commercial banking, some of it in business banking and others. I was more on the consumer side with the credit card. And we have a very big bench team. Behind him is an EVP named Jay Anderton, who has been in more startups and other banking related kind of areas. And your bench is important, having folks that really know. So, initially I thought, am I too late to try this? And I guarantee that you're never too late to try anything. I often convince myself that you're never too late because I don't think God called Moses to go get the people from Israel until he was 70 years old. I think that Colonel Sanders started the chicken franchise at about 64, 65 years old.
KFC. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I try to stay away from there.
I love some KFC.
And there is no age. I thought I will go and market this to a certain group, and it turned out not to be true. I had a acquaintance that asked me now, you know, because I would say every morning after we'd walk, I've got to go to work. I've got to get to, he's like, what do you do? So I started to explain it, and he said, I want to participate. He bought 3 nodes. He's 80 years old when he bought those nodes. He understood the concept. I have a sister who was in her 60s, said, yep, I want to participate. So it is not something that I initially, where I thought this is 18 to 34 years old. And Billy doesn't tell you that, you know, the first day I met Billy, I saddled up beside him and said, hey, I need your help. And I don't do that often if it's the first day that I meet you. But that first year when we were selling nodes, Billy made a substantial amount of money. However, he bought nodes with 100% of it, turned right back around and bought switch nodes with 100% of what he made that year. And that was like in October to December kind of time frame. The way that we continue to expand Switch is by various products. So we have an NFT voucher that allows you to move things a little easier than if you're just using a plain credit card. Sometimes the credit card companies are behind what can go on that card and what can't. So we've made some products that are a little easier there. We also just signed a test for high risk products. And so I have never been in a CBD office or a store. I did at one point, thought I'll go to the corner store in my hometown and I'll pick up some flour to make some cookies. And when I got there, I thought, boy, this really looks different. And it was a cannabis store. I'm like, oh, well, I can't get the flour here. I was just in Washington, D.C., and it said something like Sweet Leaf. And I thought I'll walk over there and see if I can test with them. And it was a restaurant. So, you know, we have one candidate that we're testing with medical supplies and CBD right now that Visa has approved for higher risk products, which sometimes are in the educational realm. Sometimes they're in the realm of some medical supplies or vitamins and that kind of thing. So we're building out something that will be used and will be helpful to a myriad of clients. And last week, we signed a new vendor. You're getting this news ahead of the rest of the world, even the rest of the companies that we work with. And that company is called Vault. Vault has more of a global footprint. And in that global footprint, what they've done is put 3 providers for every kind of card product they have. So they'll have 2 international providers and 1 local provider. And that is basically because of the regulatory environment that continues to be developing in this kind of product. In the United States, we have been slower to adopt these. I haven't called Joe Biden yet, but I'm tempted, and he would remember me from Delaware if I did call him. But the Congress has kind of ignored this. I'm not afraid of regulation. None of us are afraid of regulation. If we can follow banking regulations, we can follow anything else they think up in crypto. But know that entire countries are adopting this digital system, and they are adopting it at a much faster rate than we are here in the United States. Our next moves will be to take advantage of that and sweep the European continents, other continents as Vault adds them. And so after that, we'll add other products, debit cards with a full bank account, credit cards in the future. Basically, we're going to disrupt banking. We're going to give the opportunity for digital rewards to be used across every spectrum that you would normally go to your normal bank from. So with that, I'm going to be quiet. I like to listen a little bit more than I talk. Billy, do we have opportunity for questions?
Yeah, we do. Let's talk just a little bit. You and I chit chat, just like we're doing a little conversation just to kind of fill them in on some blanks. How's that? That way we can fill in some blanks. So when Kathy and I locked arms 3.5 years ago, one of the reasons I was so attracted to this project, blockchain. Remember, I told you guys I only bought 11 nodes into Gala. The reason I only bought 11 nodes into Gala because I wasn't a gamer. But then when I heard about banking, everybody wants to be a little bit of a partner in a bank, right? Anybody I know. And it all rises and falls in leadership. So Kathy, obviously being who she is, she mentioned Brad. Brad ran the 13th largest regional bank in America. He was one of the top guys there. That group alone made it very attractive to me. Then Kathy started telling me, and I'll fill in a little bit of the blanks here with her, is it's going to be the first one with the debit card. All right, that's great. Number two, she's like, hey, this is kind of what we envision of really changing it. If you guys email right now, let me tell you some of the reasons I feel like Switch is just a no-brainer for you guys, because a lot of you guys on here have not got a Switch node. And Kathy talks a little bit about why, I worked really, really hard with Kathy. I think the most I've worked in a long time when we were launching this project. And I was, like she said, I don't want to say the number. I don't want to brag, but I was making a lot of money, a lot of money. And every time, like Kathy said, I just bought more nodes, because I believe that much in this project. And where I didn't do that with Gala and I made a lot of money over here, I knew this is going to be the future because when I started this whole Zoom tonight, I said the people that make the most money are the people solving the biggest problems. Two of the biggest problems that Switch solves is if you have a problem with Binance, you have a problem with Coinbase, you email them. How long does it take to get back with you?
Maybe never.
A week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever it is. Kathy hasn't talked this much about what she did at Discover before she became the CEO. But one of the things, and I'll fill in the blanks and tell you guys, she ran Discover. She ran the customer service department. She took that from a no-name bank to being the #1 customer service bank in the world. So when she looked at what was going on in the crypto world, Kathy, let me pat you on the back a little bit. And I got chill bumps when I heard about this. She goes, we need to have the first live customer service on the blockchain. And I was like, whoa, I got chill bumps again just now, because if you've been in that space, well, most of you guys haven't, but some of you guys have probably been on here a while. I've been in this crypto space now for 8.5 years. Can you imagine the problems and the headaches when you're just learning to navigate? Maybe you guys are feeling that pain right now. Maybe you guys are using some of these other banking platforms and you can't ever get a customer service. Imagine if you had a live customer service person get back to you within 24 hours. It already exists because Kathy's already implemented that in Switch, and then they've taken that and now they're implementing it into Connect United, where you guys are all participating. That is Kathy's mastermind. One of the other big things that was really, really exciting to me was if you order crypto right now on Coinbase, Binance, or any of the other things, it will tell you your Coinbase or your crypto is ready for trade, which means they're not going to allow you to pull it off their platform. They're using that for other reasons on the backside. But with Switch, if you order your crypto before 2 o'clock, usually on the same banking day, after 2 o'clock that same day, you're able to get your crypto and you're able to offboard it anywhere you want. Correct, Kathy?
That's correct. And I just did a test myself. I bought maybe $200 worth of Bitcoin on MoonPay because I'm using them as a comparable. It took me 18 hours. I was tired. And I did run call centers for a long time before I became the president of the bank. And we were open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. I spent most of my holidays with everyone at the call centers and had a lot of Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners there. But not having customer service would have driven me insane. And don't get me wrong, customer service is expensive, but we have included it in our product at Switch because it's deserved by the client. And we have very, very good people. We have a lot of different ways for you to get a hold of us, whether it's Zendesk, email, and if we need to do a Zoom or whatever, because sometimes there are things that are complex. If we need white glove service for someone, we have that.
Yep, absolutely. And she mentioned a guy's name. I want you guys to understand. She mentioned another guy's name I want to highlight real quick, because this guy, for the last couple of years, I've grown to be a really good buddy, and he helps me onboard a lot of you guys without you guys even knowing it. His name's Jay Anderton, and he is an absolute stud. This guy bends over backwards. He never complains about anything, and he's a true banker. He's our true inside banker guy. I have a lot of high-end profile guys that bring in a lot of money, big wires, from $100K to $5 million. So I have some clients that really bring in big chunks, and Jay is the guy on the backside that's always there, always answering, no matter what. 20 things going on, he's always, how can I help you, with a smile. So we have a star-studded team behind Kathy, beside Kathy, whatever you want to call it, that is absolutely making this dream a reality. And Kathy mentioned just briefly on this. Kathy, can you elaborate a little bit, maybe or maybe not, a little bit about the future of Switch? I know that you and I have spoke a little bit about possibly, and if it's still not true, I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit. So if it's not, oops, I'm sorry. But possibly either in the future, painting the picture what Switch could be able to be marching down, maybe mortgages, maybe borrowing against your crypto. What are some of the things that we can look forward to with Switch?
Yes, absolutely. We have started, is not widespread, with a couple of vendors to help us on debt projects. And we would hope that when you go into your Lamborghini dealership and want to spend your money, that you'd be able to do it with Switch or some other digital kind of rewards. So we will be going to merchants, and this has not been on our 2024 list. It was pushed out a little further, but we're starting to find that we have partners that can help us with that. We haven't gotten all the way to the mortgages, and in the cases where we are talking about the larger items, they are just wanting to see Bitcoin so far. But the instruments to do that, to either borrow against your digital rewards or obtain debt with your digital rewards, is also something we're working on. As we signed Vault last week, they also have credit instruments, not just debit and prepaid. So the first one is that we're coming out with is a prepaid. The previous years we had done the debit card, but that was only in the United States. And so when the FDIC squeezed all the banks, there was some fear in operating, even though they never saw an instance of any digital rewards. They always saw it after it was cash. Basically, the FDIC scared most of the banks away from that. So with Vault, we'll have, going into this, the prepaid card. Next would be the debit card, and then will be some kind of actual credit card. And then we'll be working towards other kinds of debt instruments, whether they be for your car, your boat, your home. But again, disruption of banking.
So guys, like Kathy said, the way to participate, let's talk about the ways that you can participate and help add value to the network. One of the ways, obviously, the ways that most people know me is selling software nodes. That is what I'm known for. I'm the, as they call, the node guy. I own the domain, the node guy, king of nodes, software nodes, you name it. That's what I've been doing now for a long time, 6 years plus, doing this industry. But the other way to participate is going to switchrewardcard.com and go ahead and Kathy, what's on the site right now? They just go in there and sign up for it?
If you go on that site, scroll all the way down. I've asked Jay to make a new banner to make it more obvious, but scroll all the way down. And he's the one who told me I have to use 2 fingers to scroll down, down to the bottom where you see the wait list until they put a bigger banner on there. If you don't already have a card from the last issuer, then you'll want to be on the wait list for a card. And since we're in the open beta, that list is going to grow larger very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. So you'll want to be on the wait list, scroll down, add your name to the wait list, open your Switch wallet, which is free. Yep. And then you'll be on the wait list for the card. And I think the other thing that you want to do, I think there is a note on one of these, I can't catch everything as you're going by on the questions, but there was a question about the switch light nodes in there somewhere. And I can't remember exactly who put that up there, but the switch light nodes were taken off for sale for some time. They are a fraction of what the smart node does. But if for some reason you haven't entered into getting these digital rewards yet, if you haven't done that, the switch light node is a great way to just whet your appetite and watch what happens. Now, you won't get a lot of digital switch that way. You'll get one here or there as far as the distribution, but you will see that you can put a light node on your computer. It won't take much computing power away from you, and it will allow you to see how the distribution works. I think a light node is about 256th of a smart node, and that changes over time. It becomes less and less valuable. But Brian and Billy, I so appreciate your having me on tonight. I'll get you a sign-on where anyone who wants to have a switch light node can have one for free. And there's a couple of ways to do that, and I'll send you a QR code or I met Kathy code, and anybody who wants to download a switch light node can do that.
And one thing we're going to throw in here that I'm just going to throw out to Kathy. A lot of you guys are on here fairly new. I know that most of you guys, probably 99% of you, do not own a switch node. I know the price of the switch node is the most expensive under our umbrella that we have, and it's roughly about $9,000. Thank you. One of the things, Kathy, confirm, I'm just going to do an on-the-spot promo here real quick. If somebody on this Zoom right here tonight buys a switch node, anybody that buys a switch node, Kathy, what do you think about this? Anybody that buys a switch node tonight from this Zoom, and they can show me, you guys just send it to me on my Instagram, Billy WO. If you send me a confirmation that you bought a switch node tonight, no matter whose team you're on, Brian's, we have a lot of different teams. It doesn't matter which team you're on. If you buy a switch node tonight, we're going to bump you to the next VIP group that gets a card. How about that, Kathy? Can we move just the people up there and put them to the top and have them get a VIP card on the next round?
Absolutely. There will be a charge for the VIP card. I'm not sure if they've finalized how much is going to be. If you had a card before, you won't have a charge, but we'll get you to the top of the list. Just send me the list, and we'll make sure that everybody on the list is bumped up higher.
We've all paid $4.95, give or take. I don't remember. I think it was $5.95. I don't remember exactly what we paid, but there is a cost for the card. The reason there's a cost for the card, number one, there's cost involved. Number two, you're also getting, when you sign up and get the black card like we have, you also, every time you move your crypto from any of these other blockchains that we're working on, and you sell it and you move it over to your bank or whatever you want to do with it, you get cheaper rates than the average person just going to switch reward card. So there's a lot of benefits of owning this card. And since you're in our ecosystem and you guys are buying nodes, most of you guys are already node owners, or you're buying nodes. So whether it's Galvin, Switch, Element, Grow, any of these nodes, when you create those digital rewards, how do you off ramp them? Well, all of those brands will be listed on the Switch network. Matter of fact, a lot of the first ones are going through the process right now. If you don't see them in Switch's back office, that's because they're being applied for by our banking partner on the back end. And very soon they'll be showing up back there. So when these start hitting exchanges, we are an exchange. We want you to use our platform. We want you to off ramp there, but owning one of these cards will give you discounted rates on top of what everybody else is getting. Correct, Kathy?
That's right. The highest value card is the one I would go for, just because, for example, some of the action points that we put in there, the more you use the card, you also get switch rewards for usage on the card above and beyond what might be being produced on your smart or your light node. So there are certain actions that will define that you can use on that card that will get you more switch. And if you spend, and I don't know what they've set the spend level at,
I
but
think $2,000 a day at the moment.
yeah, but if you spend, I think for the year,
Oh,
it's about 20 or 30 or something of that sort. And of course, depending on where you shop, that's pretty easy to do. If you spend that, there won't be a renewal fee. And the other thing that we've developed is paying some of your fees with Switch. So we want there to be utility for Switch. And if you want to hold it, that's great. But if you want to spend it and you want to use it on some of the fees that you would normally pay to pay down on your card, you'll be able to use it that way. And every day we're working on new ways for you to use your Switch.
I know I'm extremely happy. I still get a lot of Switch every day from all the nodes. When you find a blockchain that you really believe in, you find the leadership, you know that the utility is going to make a difference in the world. As a veteran in this industry, and a veteran definitely on this, or a founder and a frontier on this platform, I will tell you, find a project and don't worry that. And a lot of people like, well, the Switch nodes are the most expensive ones you see. What you guys don't understand, or most of you guys probably don't understand, I've explained it a couple times on a couple other things, is the really cool part is my Gala nodes right now that I bought 4 years ago. I spent 11 grand. I've made over 11 million, but they're still paying me. Those 11 nodes are still paying me over $15,000 a month. Now, let
Billy
me
tried to buy those notes again today. How much are they?
100,000 plus each.
Yeah.
So Kathy just threw you guys a little nugget right there. These nodes that are $9,000 each right now, they may seem a little much, but what you don't understand is those nodes will max out at over $25,000, number one. But number two, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years down the road, think of all the companies now that are going to find value. We're taking on major corporations that are now coming on partner Switch because they want a good platform like this. We've got pharmacies, we've got restaurants, we've got all kinds of companies now partner up with Switch. Every time there's a transaction on that blockchain, there's a gas fee. Those gas fees every day go into a bucket, and if you own a node, those go back to it doesn't go to Kathy, it doesn't go to the guys in the back end. All of those gas fees go into a bucket and they come back to the node owners. So that's what creates the longevity of these blockchains. Is every time there's a gas fee, they go back to the node owners. So you can rest assured, as long as Switch is up and running and kicking butt and bringing on new clients, you're going to start getting those distributions every day like we are, and it's going to be a wonderful thing. So that's I just want to add that icing on the cake for you guys. This is a company, I call it a legacy company. Most of ours are, but this is obviously one of my favorite. I think I definitely have more Switch nodes than any other platform I have, and it's not 2 or 3. I'll tell you guys that. So we've got a few of them. All right, what question?
Kathy, I got a couple of questions. I'm reading
let's do
the chat. So it's I watch videos on this too, but I see this in the chat. It's beneficial, right, for somebody that's in Connect United to go and set up an account for Switch. Doesn't matter if it's same email or not, and then they have an actual referral link to refer people, because there are benefits to refer people to Switch, right?
There are, but as a Connect rep, you want your sales to come through Connect. But for example, before I got on this phone call, I just got a call from Wright. We're working on that referral, and the way I understand it, so example, if you're able to refer cards, people who want the card or other products outside of the nodes, to refer them to Switch, we're working on a way to reward you for doing that. It won't be through Connect, obviously, it'll be back from us. But if you go to the airlines today, they're going to try to sell you their card, right? And so we're working on a referral process. And when I talked with Jay about this the other day, I said, can we use that same referral code that they have at Connect and reward the Connect client who brought in a card? So we are working on that right now. You're absolutely right, Brian. Thanks for bringing that up. As we got the details all put together, then we'll get them out there.
So, and also, is there a feature where I can just use like the tap part of it, like Square?
On this one I have, let me see if there's a tap on it.
There is.
Is it Tapas on it? Okay.
Nope.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It is on there.
Okay.
Yep. And I love that. I think that necessity is the mother of invention. And since COVID, I think most cards do have the tap on there.
Yep.
And I got
And
another
then
question.
you'll be able to use a digital one on your phone too.
Does
Yep.
rewards equal cash? One lady asked that.
Does
So
there's a
ahead.
little difference from an equal standpoint. You can't
That's
say
correct.
it equals that. No.
No. So what happens is when these projects, when these brands, the brand has nothing to do with the token. What I mean by that is the brand's job is to build the company, the community, which is all of us, which I'm a part of one of these groups. Our job is to get them on exchanges. There's a lot of criteria that comes along with that. I'd rather address that than Kathy personally. So what happens is there's got to be certain criteria. We've got to have so many people in our signal groups. We're going to have so many people on our social medias. There's a lot of criteria. So we're going through those final stages right now. And I would guess in the next 90 days, Switch, Element, Galvin, Win, and Grow, all 5 of those should be launched into that sector, which is the exchanges. So one Switch token, if it says 3 cents on the marketplace, it'll be worth 3 cents. If it says a nickel, 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever it says, each Switch reward will be worth that amount. That's how that works.
Thanks for bringing that up, Billy. And I'm not supposed to influence that. And so I
Yep.
try
I try to
stay-
cut you off so you didn't have
I
to.
try to stay in my lane, but it's
Yep.
important to understand that when you get your distributions, we have nothing to do with that either. There is
Yep.
a trustee in Switzerland that is tasked with making sure that's correct on a daily basis, and I cannot instruct them what to do. We have everything siloed in the correct way, the same way I would at the bank. I mentioned to somebody every quarter when I had to sign that report back into the government, it was always this thick. And I would sit down very carefully and go through that. That's how detailed we're doing this business also. So I can't influence the token. I don't want to give you the impression that we will, but what we are doing on the company side is building a powerful and a great product for everyone to use. And
Right.
I do have a small goal. And that goal is that Switch would be a common name and we would like to have world domination. So you can help me with that.
I can definitely see it being the greatest crypto card / wallet. I mean, for on-ramping and off-ramping that fast, you can go buy $1,000 in Bitcoin and immediately move it to your non-custodial part and then move it to wherever you want. Where most everything holds your
Unheard
money.
of. It's unheard of.
Holds
And,
everything.
and it will continue to change, but what we're dedicated to is continuing to improve on a regular basis.
And
Yep.
I keep seeing the same type of question about EFT POS attached to the Switch card directly. And
I'm sorry. Tell me what that is again.
I see one question. It's like, will Switch have a POS system? And then
Oh,
another
okay.
one,
I did see that one. And we don't have a point of sale terminal, but we are experiencing opportunities with our what we call our Switch Pay widget. And we are offering that to businesses that want to accept crypto. We have a line out there on the business side, and we do have business accounts at Switch where we're saying, there's 420 million people on the planet who own some kind of digital reward. Doesn't your business want to take some kind of crypto? So we are advertising on the business side that widget and maybe a QR code or something of that sort. So yes, we are going out to merchants on a regular basis, and we may ask for help for that same kind of protocol also in the near future. As I said, we used to engage customers at Discover Card. I would go into a little shop maybe. I can remember being in one in Salt Lake, and I picked out some things, and my name is Kathy Roberts, and I'm a shopaholic. I might as well just admit that. So, when you're with a small merchant and at the end, she totaled it all up. This had to be in maybe the middle 90s, and it was $3,000. And I presented my Discover card. And she said,
Kathy,
well,
can you speak briefly on so the widget? Let's talk about that. We've got
Yeah,
over 200
but-
people right here on this right now.
Guess how fast they accepted the Discover card when they didn't. They accepted it before my transaction was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's somebody asking the widget that we did for Connect, where we convert that to a voucher, then NFT, then buy it. Is that going to be open? The question is that going to be open for other vendors to take
Yes.
that into the business?
Absolutely. We think that's going to be a large product. That, and there are several other things that we're working on. Absolutely. That,
Great
and there's
question.
also the high risk product. We're testing that right now.
Doris, I think that was your question. I hope we answered it for you there. Is there a referral program requiring accounts locally? Are you talking to business referrals? They're asking, is there a referral program acquiring accounts? That I'm assuming that's business accounts to get set up under the Switch umbrella. We are working on that. Yes.
Yeah, there isn't one today, but there will be. We are working on that.
In the future, correct.
Mhm.
Brian, how do we apply for the card? You go to the website and you apply
All
right
down to the bottom, and
Yep.
there'll be a wait list.
Yep. And it will cost you between $400 and $500. I think I paid $500 for mine. We all pay for these. So to support the network, and there are costs involved, but it also gets you off-ramping discounts when you go to cash out your crypto, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, Switch, whatever it is that you have as well. So you're definitely and it pays you crypto back, which is Switch rewards, as you use it. So a lot of benefits to that. So it's not just getting a card.
That's
All right.
correct. You might note that, our regular rate, let's say you don't choose a card or anything, but you want to use our platform. It normally with most providers is going to be between 7 and 12%. With the black card, it'll be 4%. So
There you
that
go.
gives
Big-
you some
big difference.
comparables. Mhm.
And when you're off ramping as much crypto as I'm off ramping, my big house I'm paying for, as Kathy knows,
That
you
makes a
get
difference.
that 3% off $6 million. You guys can do the math. It pays the difference. So yes. And then Sid, do you have to KYC to apply? Yes, you do. Yep. Good
Yep.
questions, guys. You guys are asking great questions. We've got Kathy for like
Simple
2 or 3
questions.
more minutes. Any other questions real quick?
We don't expect the KYC to be horribly difficult on the first product. It is a prepaid. And so we do expect about 98% approval, if that helps on the KYC.
Yep. Let's see. How does Switch differ from crypto? How does the Switch card differ from crypto.com card? Kathy, do you know crypto.com's card?
Yes, I think I applied for that. I'm not sure that I ever got it because this was some time ago. So I applied for almost everything that was comparable. And by the time I got it, I don't think I used it. So I can't tell you on crypto.com what that is. I can tell you this. They have a lot of transactions. Last year, we were pursuing another American bank, and I know they were pursuing the bank also. And so they did get in with this bank that is mostly Canadian and American, and they do a really tough due diligence. So I'm assuming it's a good card, but I don't think that they have customer service that will compare to mine.
Yes. Yes, 18. They're asking, is there a minimum for the card? Yes, 18. You have to be at least 18 years old to apply for the card. Can it be under a business or nonprofit? Great question. You can put it under a business. Kathy, can you put it under a nonprofit, the card?
I don't see why not. I'll have to ask Jay that question and see if our new vendor's prepared for that. So let me get back to you on that.
How long till it reaches Australia? We got several people from Australia on here.
We signed this vendor last week, and so I don't remember if Australia was on the list, but I'll find that out and get that back to you right away.
Perfect. And we'll get back to you. Crypto.com requires 4K. I see. Okay, perfect. Crypto
Okay.
does not have, and crypto.com does not have rewards. They don't give you rewards back. We do. Great chime in there, Courtney. Appreciate that. Is there a minimum? You guys are asking really good questions for Kathy.
Very good questions. Yes.
Is there a minimum age to ownership of a node? Yes, there is. 18 years of old. How long until it reaches? We just did that one. These are great questions, guys. You guys are really doing some good ones. All right. Any other questions, real quick?
If you could send all the list of questions, I'll get those over also to Jay, because it helps us every time you give us input to improve what we're doing. Don't forget to go to switchrewardcard.com and scroll down, sign on for the wait list, and start looking around that website. You can look at a lot of different things that have no cost, sell it for wallet, that type of thing, and play on our website.
So Jeff's question is, how much is the highest card value? What do you mean by that? Meaning, how much does it cost? I think it's $500 or $600 to get the card. And then I think that right now, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong on the old numbers. Was it, you can tell me the numbers of the max use per day. Do you know that?
I don't remember what the
I don't
breakdown
either.
is. It was so much. If you did a direct deposit, you got a reward for that. And actually, we're working on an improvement to that, which would be in our next voting group. That's another reason I like to be a node owner, as I want to be able to vote on things. So we're thinking about adding to that list. But then it was, I can't remember what the amount was daily. If you spent, maybe it was 2,000 or something of that
I
sort.
think it was 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are other actions that you would get points on or a reward on if for use of your card on a regular basis.
Okay. What is the benefit of owning the Switch token? What are the benefits of utility it has or will have?
The utility could be in the use of paying down some of your, I've got what Billy had, paying down some of your fees with Switch. But recently, we also met with a vendor that has over almost 800,000 different discounts. And we're working to bring that on to where you could utilize your Switch for some of those discounts. There are a couple of companies out there that produce those kinds of things. And we've been working on it a while, but we finally found someone we think will work with us so that you can use your Switch. The example was the Nikes that are so coveted and how much they normally cost. Well, by the time we utilized all the discounts, instead of it being 175, it was 83. So, we're looking at a lot of different products, a lot of different ways for you to have utility of your Switch rewards. And we're also working with the ecosystem to see if you can use them in other places inside of these impact companies.
Alex, and the other benefit to that is when you're a startup, obviously owning Switch, why did I own hundreds of Switch nodes? I'm accumulating this because I believe in the future of, so why did so many people get Amazon stock day one? Why did so many people get Google stock day one? Where has Amazon and Google grown, and how much has that grown? Well, the tokens, we obviously can't tell you what future growth will be, but in hopes, if we build this the right way, we add enough value into the marketplace, obviously that token hopefully will take off and do something and grow in liquidity there. So that's what we're banking on. We can't advertise that. We're not trying to tell you, get this, you're going to get rich. That's not what we're saying, but that is why a lot of us buy the nodes, so we can accumulate these rewards, but we can use those rewards. Even if it doesn't, we're going to have ways that you can use those rewards. But in my hopes, I'm just doing a personal, I think we're sitting on something very special. That's why we buy nodes on any of these projects, is because we hope the future is bright for them. And we hope that it's going to go to a bigger audience, is which is going to drive value.
And I think Akil, if we can end on this one, he asked about the other, hey, how are you doing, brother? He asked about the different levels of cards. And when we come out a couple of years ago with the cards, we had one, I think, that was $25, etc. We've concentrated on the black card or the Onyx card for right now, but we do plan on having digital only cards, especially with this new vendor that we've just signed. So there will be less cost, but your expense to trade, etc., would be higher.
Perfect. Guys, these are great questions, but we're gonna time much the tech and cases. There's so many questions. These are all great questions. I had to reel Kathy in for an hour and say, Kathy, I need you. Anytime I call Kathy, no matter what it is. I can remember being in Mexico 2 years ago. I called Kathy. I was down doing a fund event. When I say I have my own venture capital fund, I'm down in Mexico, and I called Kathy. I won't tell her the rest of the details, Kathy, but I called Kathy, and Kathy, she knows, she's laughing because she knows the details. But I called Kathy and she answers right away. And she's like, I pick up when you call, and she's always been there for me, always answering the phone for me. We have, we've done a lot together, and I'm just thrilled and excited that you guys get to meet her and see the excitement that we both have in this project. And it's very bright, and we're excited that you guys join us in this and go sign up. Stop using Coinbase, stop using all these other platforms. If you're part of our ecosystem, every time somebody comes in with me, I tell them, what is your on and off ramp? Whatever it is, cancel it. Go sign up for switchrewardcard.com, set up an account there. Don't use any of these others because number one, you're going to be paying more on your fees, but number two, support your home team. And Switch is our home team. So yeah. I advise all you guys to do the same thing. We want to watch Switch take off. Go get you some Switch here in the next month or two. Kathy, do we know when we're going to have Switch listed on the exchange over there?
I don't. The next one, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that's some of my questions are a little
different. One more question.
Last one.
What's the next step for people to get that light node?
I'll have a code. I'll send that over to you guys so that you can. I have it on a QR code, and it'll say this is what you need to do to get the light node, and there'll be another one that says this is what you need to do to get your wallet if you haven't already done that. There's also one that if you send to Casey Nilsson, and I'll send that into an email because I don't have her email
I have all
memorized. And if you just send her, say, I met Kathy on an email and give her your email address and information, she'll get you signed up for a light node. So I'll send you both methods. And if you can get that out to this whole team, then they'll get you signed up for the light node and get you that license. You would just put it on your PC or your I think you could put it on your laptop too. It'll run in the background. It won't hurt anything or take a lot of computing power away. It doesn't do what a smart node does, but I'd like for everybody to have one.
Right. Yeah. Right, cool. If I get that QR code, I'll try to send it as many leaders as I can. I'm sure Billy will too.
Great.
And, thank you everybody for getting on tonight. Get back with the person that invited you. We'll see you Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, thank you, Kathy, so much. We've been really excited to hear from you, and it's fantastic. So
congratulations,
I'm
everybody.
all signed up. I'm ready to go. So all right.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you,
Kathy.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye.